Hello everyone, I hope everyone is doing good and taking good care of themselves. So today I'm going to talk about emotional dumping. Yes, it's a reality, it's a thing. It's not just some random words compiled together. It's a real thing, emotional dumping. And what emotional dumping is when we go through a lot of these inner emotional turmoils and we don't know how to regulate and process. We just go and vent it out. We chronically vent it out to anyone and everyone, whoever we catch hold of, and we just don't we are not bothered. We just want to vent. We are not bothered at all to know if that person is ready and prepared to listen to what I have to say. We just go and vent it out. So that entire process is known as emotional dumping. I was in a habit of emotional dumping long back, and I realized a lot of things. I realized that at times people were emotionally unavailable. I was just blabbing. At times I felt that the person did not like listening to what I wanted to say because that person was not prepared. And often I also noticed that a couple of these people were just not interested and they started avoiding me, because I had so much of this turbulence and turmoil emotionally into my emotional self, and they had their own challenges. They never wanted to listen to it. They never wanted to take all of that. So they started avoiding. So I learned it in a different way, and then I started studying and exploring this phenomena, and then I realized that it's a very real thing. And before we get deeper into the topic, let us understand what makes people do or get into emotional dumping. So the first reason why people emotionally dump or engage into emotional dumping is to relieve stress. Yes, at times when they are unable to process stress, at times when they are unable to understand and handle, manage, sort out things, there is a lot of build up that happens. And how do they relieve themselves from that build up? By speaking it out, by venting it out. And they are in that urgency. Because of stress, they are feeling very suffocated. Because of stress, they are feeling very pressured, and they are in that urgency to just vent it out so that they can feel a little lighter. They can get it off their shoulders. So they really don't check and care who they are venting it to. And so this is one of the first reasons why people emotionally dump. They get into emotional dumping. So yes, one is to get rid of stress. If it becomes too much for them, they just find a person or someone to emotionally dump. The next reason why people get into emotional dumping is there is a very dysfunctional narrative that is out there, that if I speak about my challenges and my problems, maybe I'll make friends with you. Maybe we both will be having same challenges and problems, or maybe the other person might have sympathy towards me and become friends with me, or get along with me. And this very this entire idea is very dysfunctional. But yes, people do engage into emotional dumping with a sense, with a kind of an expectation to establish connection. Yes, people often emotionally dump to establish connection. Yes, I mean, I'll talk about the saddest things in me, she will talk about the saddest things in her life, and then we will establish a connection. I'll talk about my pain, and then he will talk about his pain, and to establish connection. But there is something that I want to add in over here. I might be in a mood to vent it out, but someone else might not be ready. Someone else might be having challenges himself or herself in their own lives. I really don't know. And it would be very partial, and it would be very biased and heartless of me to, just for the sake of venting it out, I catch hold of someone and I just vent it out without knowing or without caring as to what that person is going through at all. That person is ready at all, that person is emotionally available to listen to at all, if that person is prepared at all, if that person is not stressed and anxious. We just want to vent it out. So it's definitely not a good thing, and it happens. And this kind of phenomena is very much you can say it's very much normalized in a lot of relationships in our society, in our dysfunctional society. So nobody really cares whether they have to check if the other person is also going through tough time, or if that person would be okay to hear all of the trauma and drama and all that emotional turmoil that I'm going through. So I just don't care. I act selfish, and I just go and vent it out. So yes, it's sad, it's quite biased and partial, but yes, it happens, and it's a real thing. And the next reason, if you see why people get into emotional dumping, is that they want to relive their emotional experience. Yes, at times what happens is we get so attached to one specific emotion related to an experience that we like reliving it again and again. So for example, I was betrayed. This is just an example. I was betrayed, but lack of counseling, lack of emotional support, lack of emotional regulation, I am just stagnated with that betrayal. Yeah, and because of that, the entire experience of betrayal is going on and on and on and on. Yeah, and I'm living it day in and day out. I'm living it 24/7. So tomorrow also, I would, till the time I don't help myself, tomorrow also I would want to relive the same emotion. I would want to experience those emotions again of being betrayed, and the third day as well, until and unless I am healed and I choose to put a full stop, that bygones are gone. Why do I have to ruminate? Why do I have to relive it? Yeah. So now coming back to the reason, so because some people have this craving to relive their emotional experience, they also engage into emotional dumping. Yes, so that they feel themselves, they feel very much right there, and because of that they repeat it. They repeat it in order to feel it, that yes, I was betrayed. It was a very bad betrayal. Yeah. So I mean, from 1 week I'm catching hold of someone or the other, and I'm just saying that it was a very bad betrayal that I faced, and I'm a strong woman. I'm standing in front of you. So this mostly happens because that very person who goes through that experience is unaware is not trained or educated to, as to how they can manage and regulate themselves, and also they don't have healthy relationships, only then these things really get stagnated and we go on into, repeating and doing the same thing again and again. So yes, the last reason for people to get into emotional dumping is, to relive their emotional experiences. Now, so this was all about emotional dumping and why, in the first place people get into, dumping their emotions or emotional dumping. Now, let's understand some of the signs of emotional dumping. How do we understand that, someone is emotionally dumping? So the first sign to look out for is that after someone has dumped, or someone is done dumping his emotion onto you, you would feel very drained after the interaction, because it's all negative interaction, and you'll be like, what's happening, what did I just hear, why I had to hear all of that? Yeah, because you were not prepared and somebody came and they just dumped. And so the first sign to look out for is that you would feel very drained after interaction with that person who's into emotional dumping. And the next sign to look out for is that when someone is emotionally dumping on you, you would see that the entire conversation is just one-sided. It's about that person's problem, and that person is the center of the entire conversation. His problem, his challenges, his situation, his breakup, his betrayal, his hardship. Getting my point? So conversations are just one-sided, and that person, the one who's emotionally dumping, is the one who is the centerpiece in that conversation. So that is one of the signs that someone is dumping you, because they don't care about as to how you feel. They just want to vent it out, they just want to get it off their heart and want to get it off their shoulder. So yes, that is another sign where it's all one-sided. Things are pretty much one-sided, and I mean, sometimes what happens is that we do feel that the conversation is one-sided, but just for the sake of listening to it, we sit. But this is where the problem begins. We should immediately say no if we are not prepared to hear something, or if you're not prepared to hear somebody else's problem. We should immediately say no. We should not force ourselves to take all of somebody else's trauma, because that scars us as well, that ruins the peace of our mind as well. Yes, we need to be a little selfish when it comes to our own mental health. Now, coming back to the signs, so the next sign is that those people who are into emotional dumping, they will keep telling you the problem that they are facing, and they will keep repeating it. So it's a never ending cycle. They'll talk about the same problem with multiple people. Yeah, let me elaborate. So like, multiple people betrayed them, multiple huge array of people, multiple people cheated them, multiple people used them. So a question comes, why multiple people cheated? Why can't you stop from it being repeated again and again? Why, after being cheated twice, you didn't learn the lesson? It's obvious. If I am betrayed once, I should learn the lesson. Why should I wait for 10 betrayals and then keep talking about it? That shows that I am not stable emotionally and mentally. That simply shows that there is something wrong with me, because I'm talking about the same problem but repeating it again and again. The problem keeps happening with me again and again, and it means that I'm weak in certain areas, and I am not looking for solution. I just want to ruminate. I just want to keep on repeating it. So yes, this is an important sign to observe, that the person who is into emotional dumping, they'll have the same story, maybe with different scene, different people, different aspect to it, but it is the same thing. It goes on and on and on. So yes, it's the same issue, and it keeps on repeating in their life, and they are just sad about it. They don't seek any solution. They don't put a full stop. Yeah, like I had a friend, and she was cheated, and it was as if she was cheated multiple times, and she used to keep dumping it on me, that I was cheated and this happened and that happened. And one fine day, like, I was hearing it over and over again. Almost every next person used to cheat on her. Every next person used to cheat her and betray her. And after a couple of days, I said, why is it happening again and again? And it was funny. The reply was funny. And she said that she is very good. That's why it's happening with her. So people are there. Ignorant people are there. Silly people are there. And they like behaving and being stupid. But I mean, anyways, that's their life, and they need to sort it out. So yes, the sign, they keep having the same problem, and they never put a full stop to it. So whenever you will meet them, they'll come up with the same problem, maybe some other character, some other people, some other time, and place, but it's the same problem again and again. And the last sign that you are being emotionally dumped on, or someone is emotionally dumping on you, the last sign is that you have a very strong feeling inside that you just want to avoid that person. You just don't want to see that person again. Yes, because not everybody wants to hear your problems, your challenges. People have their own different challenges and problems. So every time hearing the same thing again and again, it gets boring, and it gets frustrating also. I have stopped. Earlier I used to listen to it, but now I have stopped, because I have seen people that they when I wanted to emotionally dump, I have seen people denying. I have seen people just avoiding me. So I don't feel bad, and I don't judge them, because definitely they all must have some other priorities, or they would have had prioritized their mental peace first. So it's absolutely fine, and I don't feel bad, and I think what they did was right. They did not listen to the crap that I had to go on again and again, and I need to do the same thing. Why see, I am into counseling, professionally, but apart from that, it's my work. So if I'm paid, I'm paid to let people talk. I'm paid to listen to them. So that's a professional aspect to it. But with a friend, with a partner, with a good relative, I would want to meet and feel good. I would not want to meet and feel start cribbing and hear their problems, and start listening to all the issues that they had this year, that year, what people did with them. I wouldn't want to. I would want to, make good memories. I would want to feel happy and good by meeting my friend, and not by listening to their set of problems. So yeah, it's out there, and it really drains you. It makes you feel really frustrated. At times it makes you feel confused, and these people who are into emotionally dumping, they are least bothered. They will go on doing it. Today it's you, tomorrow it will be someone else. And because we need to understand, if a part in our body is aching, who is going to put the balm? It's us who's going to put the balm. Somebody might not just come and do it for us. If we are hungry, we have to eat, pick up the morsel, with our own hands, and then put it in the mouth. The food won't come flying in our mouth. So it's the same thing with regulating emotions. Yeah, we just can't expect that we will get rid of all those negative emotions, and we'll forget all those negative experience if we just go and dump it. Mutual conversations are different. Yeah, when I speak to people, it's very mutual. I'm sitting to hear. Yeah, but problem happens when I'm not prepared to hear, and I'm forced to hear. So yes, that is the problem, and we can see that emotional dumping happens in amongst lovers, amongst friends, amongst family members. Like a mother is emotionally dumping on the kid. Oh, your dad this to me, your dad did this to me, your dad was this, your dad was that, and I did this for your grandmother, I did that for your grandmother. And the kid is just clueless. The kid is like, why do I have to hear it? Yeah, at the back of the mind, the kid must be thinking, why do I have to hear all of this? The father is into emotional dumping. I worked so hard for you, I did this for you, that for you, they betrayed me, still I went on doing it. And why did I do it? It was just for you. Lovers are into the same thing. I was betrayed very badly. Okay, you were betrayed, so just stop it and move on. Why do you have to tell your love, your current love, about all those list of betrayals? Why? What is the use? I don't know. Maybe it is basically people get into emotional dumping to seek sympathy. Yeah, that could be one of the aspects why people do it. And of course, to establish some invisible connection, and to get rid of the stress. So yes, amongst the lovers also we can see emotional dumping happens. Amongst friends also, it happens. Amongst everywhere you can see that emotional dumping happens. So basically, emotional dumping is where the person is chronically venting out to someone without checking if that person at all is interested, ready, or prepared. So yes, this was all about emotional dumping. I was into emotional dumping. I was a victim of emotional dumping as well, until I started understanding things, and then I realized that this is not taking me anywhere. This is in fact just pushing me in that never-ending cycle of feeling miserable and seeking out. So yes, this was all about emotional dumping. And in case if you all would have experienced at any point of time in your life, you all can always comment below. And yes, please do like, share, subscribe this channel, and let's create awareness about mental health, mental disorders, and dysfunctionalities, toxicity, abuse. Say no to abuse. And yes, emotional dumping is a kind of a selfish act, and I see it as an emotional abuse. I don't see as if the person should know. How can I ask someone for help without knowing whether at all that person is capable of helping me or not, or whether at all that person is in a mood to help me or not. So yes, it's quite selfish to just emotionally dump on people, and it's an abuse. To me, it's an abuse. And yes, so this was all about emotional dumping. Please take care of yourselves, and lots of love and blessings to all of you, and say no to emotional dumping. Yes, take care. Bye.